Well, actually, there is a kind of a whole opportunity here to take digital cameras as a second, as a B camera, shoot only certain scenes as long as we can match it to the rest of the film. It is actually going to be very useful. And so I started exploring more into the, color management and to film emulation, because I just realized it's not just about just being able to process those images, being able to make them look as good as film. Really, that's what everybody was looking for. So I developed my first film emulation recipes that and that gave me a name, right? That gave me a name. Now you have to understand, the film industry as such is actually a not very big industry. There's few hundred people really who are on that top end level cinematographers. I would say probably maybe 200, 300 worldwide, who are on that really high end level, who are happy to experiment so early with digital cameras and what's possible to do with them. And so it was at the beginning a lot of word of mouth. And then somehow that word of mouth got to the British Society of Cinematographers, and then they invited me to help them do digital camera tests, and then they introduced me to cinematographers like Vittorio Storaro or Peter Hannon, who like worked with the biggest cinematographers, and they were an inspiration to work with. Because they were my film school effectively that I didn't have. I by working with them, I learned how they think, what they're looking for, how they used to work in analog world, and how we could then replicate that. And an experience by working with these cinematographers then inspired me to develop this tool for film emulation. And I called it Look Designer. And initially it was just an internal tool I used for myself, but it was allow me to work very creatively. Again, I was just asking them, hey, what would you do normally if you were to shoot on film? And then I would then try to emulate that into digital. Not just kind of to apply the look, but also the process of look development. And then also you have these clients who really push you, who really want you to be 110% there. And that's wonderful, when you when you work, and I love that period, it was really we felt like we were introducing new things, inventing new stuff, and so on. So then I started making these little boxes, with the LUTs, and that I would then rent out to cinematographers, and they would plug them between the camera and monitor. That was before the DITs were needed. And so on. So, it was really interesting. And then I started doing more and more film, and especially films that needed a little bit more help.